Isis, Goddess of Egypt and India by Chris Morgan. The Tamil Siddhas. The eminent Tamil scholar Professor Kamil Zvelbil was one of the first to record the extremely heterodox beliefs of the South Indian Sadhus. In Tamil Nadu, these people are members of secret societies called Siddhas. Siddhas are holy men and holy women, followers of a pan-Indian mystical tradition. These people are beyond the traditional strictures of class and caste. Their rites are strange and include much that we would call magic or witchcraft. These people have their own definitions of the meaning of social class, and these traditions are about as far away as it is possible to get from the po-faced priests of traditional Hinduism. Gods made out of wood, gods made out of stone, gods made out of palmyra fronds, gods made out of bone, gods made out of rags, gods made out of dung, gods made out of saffron bags. There are no other gods but the void. That quote is from The Poets of the Powers, Kamil V. Zvelbil. They also acknowledge the existence of several international sodalities of Magi, including one called the Egyptaya, by which they mean the Egyptians. Where do these ideas originate? Are they a modern invention? When I set out to investigate the origins of this tradition, I had little idea where it would lead me. I came upon a story, largely buried in academic journals, that was extremely fascinating in its own right. I discovered a theme that seemed to provide a unique insight into Indian culture. As the great mythographer Mircea Eliade wrote, "There is no more absorbing story than that of the discovery and interpretation of India by Western consciousness." But the reward was to be even greater. The survival of a truly Egyptian magical tradition in India opens up new possibilities of understanding ancient Egypt and its religion. The odd twist of history that brought both the Egyptian and Indian cultures together in such a direct way enables us to apply the comparative method in which light will be shed on both traditions. For example, the facts presented in this book fill important gaps in a tradition that has come to be known as Hermetic. Hermeticism is syncretic, or a bricolage religion, whose central tenets come together in Alexandria, the ancient city founded by Alexander the Great in the Nile Delta. To call Hermeticism or magic a religion is controversial. The arguments for this are summarized in my book Pi-Niter, Power of the Egyptian Gods. Hermeticism combines elements of Egyptian theology, their gods and goddesses, with other religious themes totally alien to that land. In the early centuries after Christ, Hermeticism was steadily suppressed. With a few important exceptions, the body of Hermetic knowledge was, as far as we know, lost and forgotten until it began to re-emerge in the European Renaissance 1500 years after its disappearance from history. Hermeticism was lost, or so it seems, when one of those dark ages descended upon human intellectual history. The end of Egypt coincides with the temporary disappearance of the Hermetic philosophy, which nevertheless became part of several other religious traditions. Our story, in part, traces what happens to ancient religious traditions and doctrines when, to use a rather poetic metaphor, the lights in the sanctuary were extinguished. For as it happens, at the time of Christ, there was a Greco-Roman merchant colony in South India. These merchants arrived in India after a regular, if epic, sea journey of 2,000 miles across the Arabian Ocean, making their first landfall at a port known in the ancient world as Musiris.